In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a virtual tour. It's a free program and it's something that my students really enjoy. So I'm excited to share this with you. First thing we need to do is go to tourbuilder.withgoogle.com. If you are already signed into Chrome, you'll see that TourBuilder should automatically sign you in there as well. If not, I believe the sign in button is right here and you can use your Gmail account. Little background, this particular piece of software was created originally to give veterans an opportunity to journalize their experiences while serving our country. And because Google Earth is embedded into this program, they can also, in addition to using pictures and videos and things like that, they can visualize on a map exactly where they were. And it's just a really nice feature. And another thing that you could do in addition to that is, let's pretend that you are a history teacher and you want to have your students take a virtual tour on something that may have happened 100 years ago. What better way to do that than a virtual trip back in time? So the very first place I want to show you is the gallery. And you'll find that there are all kinds of pre-made virtual tours, and these are changed every so often. This one here, the Fighting for Roberts Ridge, is a great example of why this particular software was originally created. Eric Stebner was a ranger, and he chronicles his experiences, good and bad. And as you can see, throughout all of his journal entries, Google Earth is in addition going to show you exactly where it was he experienced um, whatever event he's talking about. So I would strongly recommend taking the time to look through some of those gallery tours. Some of them are really good. The next thing I want to show you is the shared tours. Anytime one of your students shares an assignment with you, just like they would with Google Docs or Google Sheets or anything like that, they can share their tours that they've created as well. And one of the assignments I had my middle school students do was to pretend if they could go anywhere in the United States, 10 different places, and money was no issue, where would they choose to go? And it was really interesting to see the different places that they selected. So I want to just share uh, what these look like. So when they presented, you'll see that immediately the very first thing that pops up is an introduction. And if there are typos in this, please disregard. I haven't had them proofread them yet. But I do want to point out that several of my students chose to go to the White House. And the neat thing about this is not only could they see where in the United States it is, and then they can see other areas around the White House, but Street View is embedded in this because this is Google Earth. So it's really neat. If I click, left click, and drag over, you're going to see if there are any street views available or even possibly inside the White House. So as soon as I release, now I'm actually in the White House. And the great thing about this is there are places, of course, that are open to the public, and our students can then take these tours even though they're not physically there. So these virtual tours are great, and the students are great at navigating. You'll find that they're not going to have nearly as difficult a time going through these mazes as we might with as adults. So that was really neat to see, because not only were my students able to show us where in the United States these locations were, but if in fact uh, there were street views available, 360 views available on Street View, then they were able to give us tours in these different places. So it was really educational. Imagine what you could do if you wanted your students to step back in time, or visit another country, or let's say that you are an English teacher and you want your students to create a virtual trip of what they experienced in a book. How neat would that be to see that actually come alive? And it's just another great way to differentiate instruction, and it really, really allows your students to understand the material. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to click Create a Tour because we're going to go ahead and make one ourselves. You can call this whatever you want. I'm just going to call this Demo Tour. And then your name. So if I was a teacher, I would put Mrs. Wood. You could put Groveton High School. You could put whatever school you're from. And create tour. Don't feel that you are stuck with the tour name and your author's name. You can most certainly change those at any time that you would like. So here I am in the introduction. I can add a picture, and I can either grab a picture that I already have. I can also search for images if I want. I'm going to just, because in the interest of saving time, here's a picture. I'm just going to go ahead and select this lovely picture of myself. Oops. There we go. And I would give us a quick little introduction. So if I was going to do a tour of the North Country here in New Hampshire, I could say there are many great places to visit in the North Country. Stop by and see, or something like that. And then I can click Add Location. There are lots of other features that I could show you at another time, but I don't want to inundate you with a lot of information at the moment. So let's pretend that I want to, for example, let's say I want to show them Santa's Village in Jefferson. So I'm going to do a search, and here it is on Presidential Highway. Google Earth is going to find it. So here is Route 2, there is Santa's Village, and not only that, but you'll see that Google Earth is a bunch of different attractions at Santa's Village. I would like to add this to my tour, so I'm going to click Add to Tour. And you can see you can actually add up to 25 different pictures or embed videos, that kind of thing, depending on how in-depth and in detail you really want to go. But I'm going to go ahead and just add a picture right now just to demonstrate how to do this. I don't have a picture of Santa's Village, so on the right hand side here I'm going to click the drop down arrow, and I want to search for images. And I want to point out that any results that I get, they're already labeled that I can use them for reuse, commercial for reuse. So Google has already done all of the legwork and is only going to show me results of pictures basically that I can use. So I'm going to go ahead and put in Santa's Village, and let's see what pops up. So here's one. I remember very vividly seeing that at Santa's Village. So I'm going to go ahead and select this. I could select more than one if I want, but this is the only one I'm going to grab. And you can see that your search is also going to provide you with the URL for that particular picture. So I'm going to click Select, and there it is. If I decided that I wanted to add some more, I could certainly click on the plus sign and add as many as I would like. Now the start and end date, this is more for historical purposes usually. If you were going back in time, for example, and you wanted students to look at a particular year, that would be beneficial. If, let's say, you were going to an attraction that might only be open certain parts of the year, then this would be helpful as well. I typically haven't had to put any dates in here, but that's what that's there for. Then, if I was going to explain what Santa's Village is, I could give maybe a little bit of history. I could explain some of the attractions, what it means to the community, maybe the hours that it's open, that kind of thing, special events. So I have the option here to type in what I would like. I could include a link to another URL if I would like. And let's see, I don't know if we have a street view available for Santa's Village. Let's take a check. Oh, we have something here, so let's take a look. So if I'm here looking at, a close-up of a person, let's turn around and see if, so we are inside. Oh, look, there's the reindeer. All right, so I'm looking at the reindeer, and maybe what I want to do is, instead of having the students see the aerial view of Santa's Village, maybe when they click on this location, I would like them to see this particular view. So I'm going to click lock this view, and now I'm going to exit the street view. I want to show you what that's going to look like. So if I click on the left hand side back to introduction, and over here on the right hand side I'm going to click save now first of all. So now my tour is saved. Let's say I'm done editing and I now would like to preview it. So I'm now going to click on the drop down arrow and I'm going to go to play full screen. So I go to play full screen. It gets rid of all the stuff on the left hand side. When your students are doing their presentations, this is the view that they're going to want to be in. Now here is my introduction. And by the way, this is exactly where I am right now. So Google Earth has pinpointed it from the get-go. I'm going to click next, and immediately when I go to Santa's Village, if I had had a description or anything like that, it would have shown up here. There's my picture, and here is the view that I wanted them to see immediately. So there are a lot of neat things you could do with this. You could actually you could do like a guess who am I, or where am I, those kinds of things, and you could give them a close-up view and then in the description give them clues maybe of when you were born, um, where you were born, things like that, and they have to try to guess who you are, or even give them hints as to where this is located, because when this first shows up they're not going to necessarily know that it's in Jefferson, New Hampshire. So there are all kinds of different things that you could do. I'm going to click exit street view and I'm going to exit full screen. So now I am back at the normal view, so to speak. If I click home, any tours that you have created will show up under my tours. And let's say that I wanted to edit or add to the tour I just started. Alright, so here is my demo tour. I'm going to click the drop down arrow and I'm going to then go to edit. I can edit what's already been created in my introduction. I could click on Santa's Village and then add more there. Or I could click add location and then choose another one. So maybe I want to, let's see, let's go to Storyland. And then I could go through the same steps and add this to my tour. So I would click add to tour and I would go through all of the information that I would want. A super tool. Now let's say I'm done editing and I am ready to share this. Either let's pretend I'm a student and I need to share it with my teacher, or I'm the teacher and I'm ready to share this with my students or a colleague. I would click share just like you would with any Google app, and as I could in anything else, either share the link, I can invite them through email, I could grab this particular link and put it in my Google Classroom so my students could grab it there as well. You can change the settings. Right now this is set to private so that nobody can really search for it. If I click change, I can definitely change my settings there. and I would click done, and so then you can share it with whomever. If you have any questions on this, feel free to let me know. My email is d_wood@sau58.org. Have a great day.